Mule is about 4 hopeful explorers trying to make a fortune on a virgin planet. I know that many of you will have loved this game and hold it in very high esteem, but here we are going to take a look at the game as if you'd never heard of it before, for people who are new to the Commodore 64, or for those who always wanted to know the ins and outs of this absolute classic. Here we go. The main gameplay revolves around the acquisition and use of mules, also known as the multiple use labour element. These are used to develop and harvest resources from your personal real estate. Depending on the terrain type, a mule can be configured to harvest energy, food, smithore, from which the mules are constructed, and crystite. You balance supply and demand of these elements, buying what you need and selling what you don't, but you may also exploit or create shortages by refusing to sell to other players or to the store, which raises the price of the resource on the following turns. Scheming is also encouraged by allowing collusion between 2 players, which initiates a mode allowing a private transaction. In the end, the goal of Mule is to rule the colony by making the most money, having the most land, and producing the most goods, and ultimately, whoever has the most points at the end wins, but only if the colony as a whole survives. One of the most compelling aspects of the game is that the decisions you make throughout the game actually matter in various ways. What you choose to do in the world can have ramifications for yourself, the other players, and the colony as a whole, and Mule hides a fairly deep and complex gameplay mechanic under a surprisingly simple exterior. It plays quickly while packing immense depth in an easily understood environment. No prior games offered such a wealth of decisions to be made in such an easily navigated framework, which is especially impressive considering its social nature. And, while Mule has served as a favourite inspiration to many game developers over the years, no one has created a more modern title that has made the game obsolete. Once you begin a session, you choose one of 8 strange life forms. Each has unique properties that will subtly influence the game, with some being better at mining, some able to run faster, etc. A spaceship then dumps you on planet Irata, which I later learnt is just Atari spelt backwards, to seek your fortune in the fledgling colony. An announcement is made that the ship will return in 12 months, and the game begins. Each round consists of a few phases, starting with a view of planet Irata containing a camp in the centre of the screen, some mountain ranges, a river, and open fields. Like the different races of characters, each type of land also has its own advantages. Mountains produce more smithore, fields more energy, and the rivers result in greater food output. In the advanced game, a randomly chosen plot of land will be auctioned to the high bidder. After that, each colonist will choose a plot of land. The next major phase begins with a random event, which means that, in short, each player has something happen to them, such as a runaway mule, solar flares, and theft by space pirates. Good things also occur, such as winning a lottery, having a relative pass and willing some dough to you, etc. Bad things are usually the same, but inverse, having to pay tickets for jaywalking, etc. Once everyone has their plots of land determined, you must purchase a mule from the dealer in the camp and equip it for its desired purpose, such as mining. Once you're done equipping, you'll walk out of the town to drag your mule to the plot, making certain both you and the mule are firmly in the square, so it doesn't run away, in order to set up your mining operation. The clock starts ticking for your turn at that point. You can return to town with what town you have and perform another action. After all players have had their turn, the mules begin to produce units of smithore, food, crystallite, or energy. At the end of each round, you enter the auction, where plots of land and other commodities are sold. Mule's ingenious auction phase is simple and exciting, but at the beginning of each auction, you only have a couple of seconds to decide whether to sell or buy. To sell goods, move your joystick up and your character moves to the top of the screen. To buy, just stay where you are. A line directly above the buyers represents what the camp store is willing to pay for goods. During times of shortages, this could be quite lucrative, but is usually a last resort. A line directly below the sellers acts as a border. As soon as the seller moves his character down, he is willing to sell his goods for the specified price. The auction begins proper. Buyers move up the screen, and by doing so the prices rises. Sellers move down the screen to offer their wares. Where the two meet, a transaction occurs. Unit by unit is sold until either a seller or buyer breaks away, and this is happening simultaneously amongst all buyers. Buyers can move all the way to the top of the screen, pushing against the price line directly below the sellers and raising the price willing to pay for the goods. But until a buyer steps down, no deal is made. This can be bad news for the desperate. Upon conclusion of all auctions, scores are tallied. Each player is judged according to the money he has, the plots he owns, and the goods he has stored. What makes Mule a strange and subtle beast is the interplay between personal wealth and the health of the colony. Playing the game from a position of utter greed can have devastating effects on the entire colony. Hoarding goods and bad decisions can cause supply shortages, which in turn hinder, cripple, and cause a colony to completely crumble. Congratulations, you all lose. Despite the random events, despite the handicapping of the prosperous, the game rewards skilled play. The person who played the best game wins, but in an evenly matched game, the engine ensures that the leader does not immediately run away with the prize, growing exponentially more powerful each and every turn, while the other players are removed from any hope of winning. Also in Mule, players don't get eliminated. The whole colony can collapse, but that's not nearly the same as me having my entire game cut short, while my friends continue to play on, leaving me, ultimately, very bored. There are measures that Mule takes to ensure that the person with the lead is not able to squash all competition, the gentle nudging, if you will, to keep the lowest ranking player competitive, and to make life just a tad more difficult for numero uno. And as mentioned above, the decisions you make in Mule have ramifications. You are in control of your own destiny. These concepts are key to the board gaming renaissance. I know that Mule did not influence board game design. These concepts germinated organically within the field, but it's still a tribute to Bunten's genius that these ideas predate modern board gaming concepts by decades. Considering Mule's 1983 vintage, it should come as much surprise that the game's visuals aren't mind-blowing. Overall, the graphics are competent, but are clearly there only to serve the actual gameplay. They quickly and efficiently provide a visual framework for manipulating the game. Nonetheless, while each character may consist of only 16 pixels, they tend to be charming sprites. Purely for the aesthetic appeal, however, the welcome splash is superb, with the large acronym MULE consuming the upper part of the screen. The letters begin to fill with rotating dots of colour. Happening upon a game of Mule in progress might not be an exciting thing to watch, and you must keep a lot of information in your head and plan your moves and strategies accordingly. A casual observer can see the phase the game is in, but not necessarily have a clear understanding of how the game is progressing. Hopefully, you're all still watching up to this point, and if so, I'd like to say a massive thank you for that. Hit the like button and let me know your thoughts and memories with this absolute classic. It's always brilliant to get your feedback. Also, please consider sharing the video to your social platforms to spread the love, or maybe even subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Every little part you continue to play helps towards enabling the channel to grow, and for that, I am forever grateful. Until the next one guys, stay retro. Bye for now.